As if anybody is surprised, it's the end of an era for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is the reverse John Tavares, because now, on this day, I see clearly everything has come to life because the Toronto Maple Leafs are officially going to lose Mitch Marner. Take a look at this tweet made by Andy Strickland from 15 minutes ago. I can confirm Mitch Marner will not be returning to Toronto. He will be playing for a new team come next season. Marner leaving Toronto could open the door for John Tavares to return. Heading into the season, the Leafs were expected to allow the veteran center to walk. With Marner leaving, that mindset has changed. So, yeah, that's it, eh? Sayonara, c'est la vie. Mitch Marner is leaving Toronto. And it's as we had said. Nobody's surprised about this, right? Nobody thinks that Marner actually had a realistic chance of staying in Toronto, right? There's no way. This guy's been the butt end of every Maple Leafs-related joke for years. Sure, he's a 100-point player. Sure, he should have had multiple seasons with 100-plus points. He just didn't get them because of the games played. Sure, he is a point-per-game stud. But there are so many things that have tarnished the Marner legacy in Toronto that even though he is one of the top scoring Maple Leafs of all time, and he ends his tenure with Toronto as one of the highest producing players to have ever donned this jersey, even though he is technically all of those things, when you ask a Leafs fan, hey, do you retire Marner's number? The response you get tells the entire story. What? Why would we do that? Why would the Leafs need to do that? What has he done to have earned that honor, aside putting up all those points every single year? Marner is one of the rare cases where the story and the drama and the context around him supersedes anything he has done on the ice. Because, let's be real here, while he has produced a bunch of points in the regular season, everything else that he has done on the ice has been disappointing. There have been conversations about him not showing up when the team needs him the most. There has always been this label of, okay, regular season merchant, regular season producing merchant who doesn't show up in the postseason. And then it got even worse in 2021, where the Toronto Maple Leafs had the lead in the first round against Montreal, and then they choked it away. And Marner was a part in that. He chucked the puck over the glass at the worst possible time, giving Montreal that huge advantage and ultimately leading the Habs to victory. Not to mention the contract situation shenanigans. Not to mention the reputation that his family and his dad brought into these conversations too. The fact that Marner held out up until the very end of the offseason to get as much money as possible. At the least, you had Austin Matthews in that same summer say, okay, we're going to sign a deal, we're going to get the contract, we're going to get the bag, I'm going to get a lot of money, but we're going to do it at the beginning of the summer. Marner didn't do that. And reputation carries a lot of weight in Toronto, especially if you're a member of the Maple Leafs, where you see fans going out there and saying, okay, yeah, well, at least Matthews signed early. At least Matthews committed early in the summer. Marner didn't do that. Marner dragged it out. Marner wanted to get as much money as possible. And inevitably he got it, so mission accomplished there. But that's not a way to win over the fans in Toronto. That's not a way to put yourselves in the good graces of the folks that pay for the tickets that allow you to make the money that you're making. Mitch Marner has been in such a terrible spot, reputation-wise and optics-wise, that now, 6 years after he had signed that $10.89 million AAV deal, right before the regular season began, by the way, 6 years after that entire conundrum of a situation went down, Marner isn't really any more accomplished now than he was back then. Yeah, he's gotten a lot more points since then, mostly in the regular season. But it goes without saying that this guy has done so little to justify the $10.89 million AAV that he had received, and now he's going to go to free agency and he's going to want more. There was no way this guy was sticking around in Toronto, and now, after all of these years of producing in the regular season and not showing up in the playoffs and not having that bite, not having that big gravitas of a champion, look at what we're seeing in Edmonton. McDavid, Draisaitl, these guys are stepping up. They are using the environment around them and they're saying, yeah, we're in the gosh darn finals. We need to play up to this level. And they've done that. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Mitch Marner over the past few years, they haven't really found the gear to be able to reach that sort of a high. And now, I saw a post on our Maple Leafs subreddit earlier yesterday, or was it this morning, something like that. It was something along the lines of like, hey, look at how Edmonton is playing in the finals. That is the kind of heart and determination you need to win. We don't have that. We don't. Matthews, okay, he's hurt, whatever. Toss that out to the side. John Tavares, okay, he's old, whatever. Toss that out to the side. Marner, Nylander, Riley, everybody else here, Marner's the top paid guy. Marner's the top point producing guy. He's supposed to be the guy to step up in that situation, but he didn't. He never did. Not once did Mitch Marner prove that he belongs in that Hall of Greats with Toronto Maple Leafs legends up there in the rafters. He might be one of the highest producing Maple Leafs ever, but outside of regular season point production, it's hard to find anybody who can fully believe that, yeah, Marner is one of the best Leafs of all time. Marner is one of the top GOATs that Toronto has ever had. Just think about the optics of the contract dispute and the lack of bite, the lack of intensity, the showing up, not showing up situations here in the past few years. Mitch Marner has such a terrible legacy in Toronto. And now he's going to go over probably to a Western team, like Elliot Friedman said, to get away from everything in the Eastern Conference here. All the pressure, all the media, all the noise. Marner's going to sign in Disneyland. He's going to go to Anaheim and he's going to get $14 million, something like that, right? They're just going to toss every dollar they can at him because that's how they know, yeah, if we want Marner, all we got to do is just pay him a lot. It doesn't matter if we're good. It doesn't matter if we have a coach that people don't like. It doesn't matter if we just got Kreider. It doesn't matter if we got Trouba and all these guys. Let's just get Marner because we're going to give him $15 million and he'll come here because he wants the money. When that's the reputation that you've garnered for yourself, no matter how many points you score in a regular season, there's always going to be that little shade of gray. And the way people look at you, and the way people think about you as a hockey player. And now Mitch Marner is officially on his way out, confirmed by Andy Strickland here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about how his time in Toronto ended, and whether or not you really do agree with the sentiment that he is one of the quote-unquote best Toronto Maple Leafs of all time. Thoughts in the comment section below about Mitch Marner, and which Western Conference team do you think he is going to sign with? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.